Hey y'all, Tara May here, and I was going to do a little movie review on the movie Phenomena from Dario Argento. Now, I know that's not necessarily one of his most popular. His bigger titles are probably Tenebrae, Suspiria, of course, and Deep Red, aka Deep Red the Hatchet Murders. But Phenomena is actually one of my favorite of his for quite a few reasons. For one thing, Jennifer Connelly does pretty well with her role. She was actually about 15 when they first pegged her to do it. And it has a lot of crazy stuff going on. In a way, it's giallo, but it's kind of beyond giallo. Some people were disappointed that Goblin wasn't on the score so much, but they did have sort of like the rock thing. They were starting to experiment with things like that in a lot of the movies there towards the mid to late 80s. And so they didn't use that very famous sound that he had going in some of the other films. But in this, you get a pretty nice, almost dreamlike movie sometimes. Now, granted, she does have some elaborate dreams and sleepwalking moments and stuff, so that adds to that. But he was actually able to use a younger cast in this, and that was something that he remarked on. In Suspiria, he had to use older girls to play younger girls, and so they actually made like door handles be raised up to make the girls appear smaller and whatnot in that movie. He didn't really have to do that with this. I also hear that he had called for nudity in Jennifer Connelly's role, but both she and her parents turned down doing that, those sort of scenes. So you didn't really have her, but well, there was some other nudity in the film and all. You kind of have Daria Nicolodi, which was his wife at one time, acting sort of crazy and erratic in a role in this film. You have Donald Pleasance, and he is an entomologist who is wheelchair bound, and he has this sort of assistant. I believe it's a chimpanzee, it's some sort of monkey, and it has a fascination with razors, which kind of comes into play a few times. And this monkey is fantastic in this movie, the way it acts and stuff. He uses sort of this laser pointer to let it know where it wants the monkey to go and stuff, and it's pretty good. But on top of it, you have this underlying element where she has sort of this affinity with bugs. That would be Jennifer Connelly's character, and she's come away to this private school in Europe, and she's from America. Her father's a prominent actor there. A lot of people really know him, know who he is. She comes into this foreign atmosphere in this really windy kind of place. She is on the outs with people right away because they kind of take an attitude against her, partly because well, who does she think she is? She's got a little bit of a rebellious streak. She kind of makes friends with her roommate pretty early on, but there seems to be something mysterious going on in the school. And on top of this, she has these weird episodes where she sleepwalks, and she's sort of seeing this killer at work, and nobody really wants to believe her. And for some reason, bugs really seem to like her. One of these particular nights where she's been sleepwalking, she kind of winds up in peril and ends up in the entomologist place, played by, of course, like I said, Donald Pleasance. And she sort of strikes up a friendship with him. He's showing her the bugs, and she's explaining her strange power over them and whatnot. And she actually ends up using the bugs to her advantage in a few scenes. Almost Carrie-like, but not really. Or even the movie Jennifer. Some of you are familiar with that, how she handles snakes and kind of seem to have control over them. She doesn't really completely control the bugs too much, and it doesn't really focus on that too much. But she is able to use one to lead her to where some of the crimes may have took place and discover, some things going on, you know, and they make kind of a play on that, which is really interesting. They got some fascinating scenes. So that's a little bit about the movie. I actually have not one but two steelbooks of this film. I liked it so much. I had the Arrow video from the UK's version for a while. I picked it up on eBay a few years ago. It has a nice amount of special features on there. This is the 116-minute cut of the film. There were technically 3 cuts. Whenever the title came to the US, they pared it down to 83 minutes, and they relabeled it Creepers. They used this image at first, but they felt it affected sales, so they sort of skeletonized her face, had it eaten sort of away by the bugs and stuff, and used that to market the film. They took a lot of things out of it. What Arrow did was they brought it back up to the 116 minutes, and so there are a few of the scenes that are in Italian only and not the English dub. And they didn't actually offer to watch the other cuts of the film, but that's okay because the 116-minute one really is the best cut. They offered, of course, this was a limited edition steelbook, Italian cut of the film, original Italian and English stereo audio, brand new subtitle translation of the Italian and optional English subtitles for the English audio. Dario's Monkey Business, The Making of Phenomena, a 50-minute long documentary featuring interviews with key talent behind this film, including director Dario Argento, star Daria Nicolodi, underwater photographer Gilorenzo Battaglia, and more. Music for Maggots, an interview with composer Claudio Simonetti. Creepers for Creatures, Sergio Stivoletti Q&A sessions from Dublin and Edinburgh. An exclusive collector's booklet featuring brand new writing on the film by Alan Jones, author of Profondo Argento. Aside from that really awesome cover there on the back, you've got that really striking image of the monkey just looking like it has gone berserk with a bloody razor. And then you see her with sort of like the white glowing eyes. There really wasn't a moment in the film where her eyes really sort of did that or anything. It's not like she tapped into a sorceress-like power, but it does make a cool effect on the cover, so I can see why they would have went with that. The disc inside, see if I can turn it right for y'all, has the monkey on it. And then in the background is one of the other classic images. There's the hands, and it's actually behind the disc too. You've got the Creepers little booklet, like they said, and it really just tells you some facts about the film. I actually learned some of the things I did about it watching the special features on this and on my other steelbook that I have. And this is a movie that had a lot of little, fascinating things about it, things that were going on behind the scenes and stuff like that with some of the people. So that was the Arrow version, and I was pretty happy with that. I didn't know that there would be another, version of this that I would buy, but Synapse came out with their limited edition, limited to 3,000. And this is actually a very solid, sturdy steelbook. I mean, the other one's solid, but this one just has like a heft to it. Aside from having the 116-minute cut, the 83-minute Creepers cut, it also has the 110-minute cut that just sort of left out all those blips where they had to dub over in Italian for scenes that they had paired away. The print is tiny, so y'all probably not going to be able to see that, but you see how many things that they have. They also have the soundtrack in here to this film on a separate disc. So they really packed a lot. Now this cost about $45. It may still be available right now, but I wouldn't expect it to last a long time. And again, on disc 1 you have the 116-minute, and in the special features you can find the 83-minute Creepers cut, and then the 110-minute cuts on the other one. Now some of the, this first one here is actually a catalog, but it has the really awesome cover that they went with. But the booklet about the film has the cool Japanese poster. There's a lot of awesome posters out there for this movie, and a lot of nice little things. I've read through this booklet. You get some of the great pictures. There's scenes like, they have her dressed in white quite a bit, and in one scene she's actually down in some filthy, nasty, I don't know how she stomached to do this part. Water is just mucky, and when she comes up she kind of gets washed clean by a pipe, and stuff. But it was pretty intense to, I mean, I can't imagine being in that situation and them asking me to jump in some nasty water like that, so more power to her for being able to pull that scene off. On the back, some of the things that this would come with, the 83-minute cut Creepers from Synapse Film, audio commentary track on Phenomena, and that's on the 110-minute version, from Argento scholar and author Derek Bothello and film historian, journalist, radio television commentator David Del Valle, or Valley. Dario Argento's World of Horror documentary, a fascinating look at his early films of director Dario Argento, including Phenomena, Suspiria, Demons, Dawn of the Dead, Inferno, and many more, containing candid interviews and awesome behind-the-scenes footage. Dario Argento's World of Horror gives a look into the mind of Italy's master of horror and an essential viewing experience for all Argento fans. And then, of course, like I said, it has 20 tracks on the soundtrack there. Now, some of you might say they said Dawn of the Dead. For those who don't know, he actually worked with Romero when he did Dawn of the Dead, and he was allowed to make the Italian cut of that film, and that is why we actually have Italian sequels to Dawn of the Dead, such as Zombie from Lucio Fulci. So that would be why it would have that on there. And again, all those are fascinating. A lot of his early works are very fascinating. Some of his later stuff, stuff he's doing now, I have not been impressed with, I'm sorry to say, because he was one of my favorite directors for a long time. But this is an awesome movie, and I think most people would enjoy it. I know some people might find it just a little hokey and strange. It does have a dreamlike vibe to it, like I said. But under it all, it's a great 80s movie. I mean, just the feeling, the way that they have captured the elements, the way that she portrays the character, the way the actors play off each other, this mysterious school that she's at with the tension between the students and whatnot. You've got just some great scenes with her making use of this strange power with the bugs. It was kind of like, I don't know where that came from, but it was actually a nice element that made the movie different from other things. So I enjoyed that quite a bit. So hopefully y'all pick that up and take a look at it. Hopefully my review helped you learn some nice facts about it and whatnot. It's just one that I really love and wanted to bring to you. Like I said, I bought 2 steelbooks of it, so it must be good in my opinion. I'm sure a lot of you have maybe opposing opinions, but that's fine too. So hopefully you like this. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to. You can find me on Twitter and ask me questions there or comment below. On Twitter, my handle is Taramay79 also, all lowercase Taramae 79. So I'd like to hear from you, your opinion, if you've got requests on things you'd like to see me review or things you'd like to see me take on. As far as the movies or maybe some of the things you see behind me you'd like to know about or something like that. I'm not leaving that open to strange suggestion, y'all, so sorry. Okay, so have a good afternoon, day, whatever time of day it is for you, and hopefully I'll hear from you. And if so, maybe it's good things.